in audio. In audio. In audio.
Woo!
What's up, everybody? Happy Monday evening. I guess if you want to call it a happy one. I'm the Mariachi Brahma.
DJ.
What is up, everybody? I'm VD, and I think I said it last week, but I think I need about 10 of these again today. So,
I don't blame you, my
Don't
friend.
blame you, brother.
This,
before we kind of get going with it, I did want to say one thing. You guys know 210 Brahmasita. She's not on the show with us again today. Just life has been really lifing for her lately. She could use some prayers, some thoughts, some positive vibes. Just give those out to her. So, definitely, Brahmasita, we love you. We're praying for you, and hopefully everything gets better for you.
Absolutely.
100%. Yep. Always stick together. Always a family. Just like we always say.
Absolutely, we're all family. So,
Familia.
Bramilia.
See, you learning some Spanish now. Even though you finally leave
No,
San
no.
Antonio, but you finally
No.
learning.
Pequito.
Muy poquito.
Poquito.
Hey, you take that with you over to the DC area, to the DMV.
Hey, I got to
you'll be
teach
solid,
her how
bro.
we do it. I got to teach her how we do it.
Exactly.
Funny thing. Look, quick little side tangent. Everyone who's met my wife, she's Mexican, speaks Spanish. When we first started dating, she asked me, "Do you speak any Spanish?" It's like, I worked construction for 10 years, so I can order food and I can cuss you out in Spanish. That's about all I know.
That's crazy.
Oh. Well, we better enjoy those laughs while we can before we get into the game from this past week because, oh my goodness, where do we start there?
It was rough. I was hoping Jay would be on. He's driving back from St. Louis. He went to the game.
Yeah, he went to the game.
But he's in a dead zone cell or something. I don't know, but maybe he'll jump on here later.
Probably in
his
traffic.
experience. But I mean, it was a rough one. I was getting more and more pissed off as the game progressed. And I said it in our little chat and stuff, and I'm like, man, this is not what I expect a Wade Phillips team, coach team to look like.
No. I mean, even going back to the Arlington game and looking at this game now, I mean, it's 2 weeks in a row where we see a lot of the similar mistakes, very careless, very lackadaisical, and just there's no rhythm, there's no chemistry, and to see it now 2 weeks in a row in a 10-week season, that's when you start sounding the first alarm. If we keep seeing this for the next 2 weeks before we get an actual home game, then we're sounding the warning signs because
if we get this for 2 more weeks, I don't see how we salvage the season.
It's not impossible still, only because if you think about it, last year we did make it to the championship on a 7-3 record regular season.
We did, but
we're dropping the games early.
I do, but I think if we have to have a chance, first of all, we have to win this week. Just to get a rhythm, we have to look good going into DC. We have to beat DC. If we want to have a shot to turn our season around to get into the playoffs, we got to beat DC, probably both games, and we have to beat St. Louis in the last game we play them, just for seeding and all that stuff. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves. But
we got the Panthers.
We got Michigan this week.
week by week. I mean, Michigan's up next, and I mean they've been playing good football, and we
Eh,
unfortunately haven't. I mean, compared to the Brahmas,
yeah, compared to the
uh,
Brahmas, okay.
but honestly, it's right now is the time when I want to see the locker room leaders start to step up and start to
Exactly.
really like the leadership core that returned from last year. This is the time when we really start to see what they're made of because okay, the season has started off rough. Things have looked bad. The play has been bad. The cohesion in the team it's just not there. And it this is where the locker room leadership comes in.
And
This is
it has to. And you saw frustration on the sidelines from the players. And I mean, like you said, man, the guys that know this team, know the scheme, know the system, that have been here for years, they have to be the leaders in the locker room and to get this team going straight. I don't think it's a skill issue because especially on defense, we've got the same bulk of the same defense that we had last year. Is it coaching? We've got the coaching staff pretty much and I'm talking purely defense right now, but what is it? We have the skill. We should have the coaching. Is it will? Is it drive? Is it what is it that's
how is it practice? I mean, our practice is not going, because that's a big part of it too. I think I mentioned it last week. This is the week where we have to really. I mean, these are the weeks then there has to be a big focus on practice and preparation because, as we saw last week, teams like Birmingham only had 2 days of practice, whereas the Brahmas had an entire week of practice. And so getting 5 days of solid practice versus 2. You got to get as much as you can in, and right now I don't know that it's being utilized to the fullest capacity based off of the product that we're seeing on the field.
Yeah, and I know I see it all on Facebook. Everyone's trying to blame the quarterback, and look, this is not me homeboying for my Aggie, quarterback.
Yeah.
It's not all him. He's absolutely made mistakes and he needs to play better.
Yeah.
But the offensive line is not giving him time. He's getting rushed. Yeah, he's getting pressure on him before the receivers are out of their routes. The receivers are dropping passes. What 5 passes dropped last night? Something like that. One became an interception, and it's AJ Smith. It's the offensive play calling. It's not creative. It's not catered to what Mon is able to do right now with the pressure he's getting. I'm not seeing a lot of quick outs or something like that. When McFarland's in the game, he's dominating, but he's playing not even half the game. So it's like, I don't know. I see a lot of stuff that needs to get better with this team, and more so than just the quarterback, which I see that all over the place. And you can't put it all on him. You can put some of it, absolutely, but not all of it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I've seen so many people already saying, "Oh, we got another Jack Cohn and this and that," and it's not all the quarterback. The play all across the offense is not good. Even week 1, we saw the receivers running lazy routes. He said the coaching, the play calling, it's been not what we had expected, not the explosiveness that we saw last year. And I think I feel like it's kind of like they're trying to figure out, okay, are we a run team? Are we going to go with the air raid, what AJ Smith is known for, being a disciple of it? It feels like they don't really have an identity just yet. But you also got to play to Kellen Mond's strengths, where he's not a pocket passer. He's a running quarterback.
Yeah, man.
The run game is doing really well. The pass protection is a liability, to be honest. I mean, the amount of times that I saw this, and I hate to call out specific players, but the right tackle. I mean, I saw him be on a speed rush, not a bull rush, not a swim move, just pure speed off the line. And Mond was not. He was getting pressured. He had 2 seconds, and he was already had someone in his face because one of his linemen got beat. Usually was on the right side.
DJ, you look like you're chomping at the bit here.
I'm just waiting my turn. That's all.
It's your turn, bro.
Jump in.
I didn't want to interrupt. Okay, so first of all, two things, right? One thing is, first of all, we going into week 3. We have 2 weeks where we play like garbage. We are 0-2.
Garbage or garbers? I'm just playing.
Both. It's a good thing and it's a bad thing, right? So the good thing is it's still early on in the season,
yeah,
right? To turn it around, we have time. The bad thing is, are we going to turn it around? And when are we going to turn it around? We going into Michigan, where they are a scrappy team. Their offense is not good, but they are a scrappy team on defense, especially.
Yep.
Same team we just played. Actually, all the teams we played so far are scrappy on defense. Both teams we played, which is Arlington and St. Louis, they all scrappy on defense. Now, can we change how we look? I don't know. I'm hoping that we can. I'm hoping I can see something totally different than what I've seen these last 2 weeks. Teams are they rarely blitzing on us. This is how bad our line has been from what I've seen. They rarely blitzing on us, and they getting forward to the quarterback. Like,
yep.
Something needs to change. Meaning, like, I got what you said. Like, we can't really. It's like, what are we going to do? We're going to do air raid. We're going to look more balanced. Like, I think we need to look more balanced. We have to establish a run. We haven't really had the opportunity to establish a run. We should be dominating the run game. That's what we're known for, right? We can't. I get the air raid. Like, we can pass the ball when we need to. Jacob has been eating, like literally eating. Like that's his go-to. That's his security blanket. Like, he's been eating.
Except he's got 4 drops this year.
He do got drops. He got drops. But I mean, some of them he do force it. But shit, John Trey got drops.
Yeah.
Like who? I mean, you got to go to the one that I know that. Okay, I feel more comfortable throwing it to Jacob than I do anybody. I mean, that's obvious. That's his security blanket. He has more. He probably got the most receptions on the team.
Yeah, him and John Trey tied for targets, 8 targets. Harris had 3 catches. John Trey had 4.
Oh, I was talking about throughout the whole season so far. Well, the 2 games
so far. I can pull up those, but I mean it's probably about the same, Because
when we played against Arlington, he got some passes. John Trey dropped a couple too, but what I'm about to say, some things like I said, I want to see more balance on offense, like establish that run. I asked for this last week and we didn't get it, but if teams know that Mon is going to stay in the pocket, all they're gonna do is keep sending 4. And if they know that they can get to him with just sending 4, they're going to continue to do that. So what should you do, Mon? You have to run the ball, bro. Like, you got to run. You can't hold on to the ball. A lot of those times that he got sacked, it's because he holding on to the ball too long, bro. And I know you said that the receiver's not getting out of their route. Okay, but if you're the quarterback and you see that the receivers are not getting out of their route, bro, take off. Like, you got to take off. You cannot sit in the pocket.
It's hard to take off when you're surrounded by the line. And there are some times that we saw where he could have taken off and he did it. He stayed in a little bit too long. That's what I said. He absolutely holds some blame for offensive woes. Like he's not blameless. There's of course not, but it's not all on him.
I mean, it's either one or two things. It's either you load up on the screen passes. Like, you got to get the screens, you got to get the meshes, you got to get the dig, like speed outs, all of that. We got to capitalize on that because we got to get the ball out fast. Obviously, if they get into the quarterback, either that or, like I said, you have to run. I mean, you only could do that. Like, you can't really hold the ball long enough for your receivers to get open down the field. So we shouldn't be going deep. I saw we was doing a lot of hitch routes. Yes, we could do those, but you have to understand like the defense is going to capitalize on that. You know, like we have to be able to. Our receivers got to understand the assignments. Like you have to drop. A lot of teams are playing zone on us. You got to drop in the zone, find an open spot in the zone. Like you can't just not. You know, and even the times when I've seen him try to run, like the receivers not helping him out, like trying to get open. Like when the quarterback drops out the pocket and starts running out, like the receivers got to follow him so that way they can get the pass, man. But I don't know. It's like I feel like we split in between. Like, which one do we want to do? Do we want to be air raid or do we want to be a more balanced offense? And we can't come out on first down. And I think I also see like our offense is very predictable. Like,
Absolutely.
it's not hard to understand. Like, it's very predictable. It's nothing. And I remember you said that earlier. Like, you was in the chat too. You was like, "There's nothing that they giving them that's special. Like, it's just regular, like regular football. Like nothing." No stunts like on offense, no offensive line not pulling. It's just a regular offense. Like I just don't know.
No traps. No
I saw one play where the line pulled over and I think we ended up gaining 7 yards on it, but it happened very few times where we're using motion very little. It's just everyone's just stagnant.
But we're taking too long to get to the fucking line. Like by the time you get to the line, get set, try to send somebody in motion, the clock already at 3 seconds. So you got to run down and get set before you hike the ball. Like it's insane, man. Please, I'm gonna say this again for the second week. Please start Anthony McFarland, bro. I like Jashawn Corbin, but please start Anthony McFarland.
He's hungry.
He's a difference maker.
He is absolutely hungry. He is, and it's running, it's catching out of the backfield. How many? Well, he had the one play that got called back by the OPI, but
terrible play call.
I mean, terrible. Dude, when McFarland's in there, when he's getting the ball, it is 100% different team, and I understand you can't play him all game. You got to get the other running backs in the mix. You got to have the mix. But like you said, start McFarland, let him eat, let him tear through these defenses, and get them tired and stuff, and see how much everything else opens up.
Yeah, once you got it on the ground, once you got the ground game established, that opens up so much more on the passing game. But also, I mean, if you utilize Kellen Mond's legs too to be able to keep the defense on their heels, they won't know, okay, who's going to run the ball. Oh, wait, no, but maybe they're going to pass it, and it just completely throws the predictability out the window. Nice jersey, by the way, Jay. Welcome.
So what I've seen from our game in St. Louis, like it wasn't even no point in writing no notes because we were doing the same shit we did last week. I could literally use the notes from last week that I used last week and use it today. But anywho, one thing I've seen that I hope that we can pick up on is St. Louis does it very well. DC does it too, like the RPO. Like we need to incorporate RPO. Like it's nothing that's giving the defense like knowing that we playing straight up and down regular offense. No type of run by the quarterback, like design runs. I think he had maybe 1 or 2 design runs when we played Arlington, and it ain't go nowhere. And that was it. Like I just don't. It's tough, man. They need to start McFarland, bro.
So
and he's slow as hell.
Who?
Mon.
Oh, I thought you were telling me slow.
Well, that's a different kind of slow.
Literally just got into town. But I can understand Mon's first game. Not necessarily doing a whole bunch, just kind of testing out, see what his strengths are, see what his weaknesses are, or whatever. But this second game, absolutely, we should have been trying to do anything to get some offense going, right? You guys saw it. I was there at the game. The only thing that you guys didn't see was the sideline stuff. So I'm not going to waste a whole bunch of time talking about, what we did right, what we didn't do right, whatever. Everybody knows, you can see that clearly.
Pretty much.
But getting Mond involved in the game, right? Having him, kind of see some things on the field, start taking some chances. Again, he had some really great throws, right? He had some really bad throws. And the thing that was surprising to me, though, was the sideline reactions when we go like 3 and out or something like that. And Hey, look, I come home and tacos magically show up. Isn't that awesome?
Hey,
Save those for later. It's thank you, hon. Um, it's the reactions on the sidelines that has me a little bit concerned with Mond. Not what's up, Noakes.
what's up, Jay?
I don't disagree with Ed's comment, right? Um, getting McFarland involved. Why are we not running the 2 quarterback option? We saw that in week 1 with several teams. We saw it a couple of times in week 2. We're not doing it. Why are we investing so heavily in Mond and not taking advantage of the folks that we have with the 2 quarterback options? Although, granted, I mean, where are we even at with the number 2 quarterback?
It's a
Right?
drop off.
Do we even know who our number 2
Yeah.
quarterback is?
It's a drop off.
It was
Right.
look, it was Garantano
Garantano.
last. Yeah, I mean,
And
I think we've said it
And
before.
the D2 guy haven't
He
gotten
was
If you have 2 quarterbacks, you have no
no
quarterback.
quarterbacks. Yeah,
You know,
true, but again, it's still an option. Like if you have a Magoo and a Coral, you've got 2 really good quarterbacks, right?
we don't have that though.
yeah.
No, we don't. I don't disagree with that. I'm not trying to argue that. What I'm trying to say though is, Noakes
Hogan,
is standing right there.
yeah, but Hogan wasn't even a quarterback too. It was Garantano. I don't know what's going on
Right.
with Hogan.
Yeah, Hogan got demoted
What-
from QB2 to QB3 between week 1 and week 2. So
Mhm.
I mean,
It's
he's
not
yeah,
because
he's
of the mustache.
he's lost the stash
But maybe
power,
it is.
obviously.
Maybe it is.
So-
But again, where are we at with all of that? Nobody even seems to know. Like, how do you go from QB2 with a QB3 who supposedly gets cut for a D2 guy to then everything gets switched around again? What direction are we going? What are we doing here? And I'm not. I don't want to make it sound like all of the finger pointing and everything is at one specific group or anything like that. It just feels like we're kind of going through the paces like we did in 23, and we don't really necessarily know what direction that we're trying to go in.
Well, I
Right?
think
Like we're
that's
still
what
trying to find our identity.
that's what we had touched on that right at the start of the show. There's not an identity
Okay.
they haven't really found their identity as far as, are we going to be air raid? Are we going to be a run team like we were last year?
Yep.
Are we going to be a balanced team? Like what's the direction of the offense, and what's the strengths? I still don't know what the strengths are. I mean, you would think it'd be the run game based off of the way that they've been playing, but they haven't been utilizing it,
And I mean, and you've got the offensive line is I think one of the biggest issues of the team, both for pass protection and run protection. And we said it, when Coach Dre left, hopefully this wasn't going to hurt the team. Apparently it's really hurt the team, because they just, for whatever reason, that line, and I think that it's fairly, it's a mix of new guys and older guys, but they haven't gotten it together. So
No, and Jorge pointed that out in our private chat, that there's some personnel issues that are basically kind of collapsing under pressure. One thing I did mention to you guys that you didn't see off camera is the frustration from some of the players. Okay, I'm not going to mention any names or anything because I don't think that that's necessarily fair, and I don't want to put spotlights on people or anything like that. But you could see the frustration from some of the people that have been there a while, getting frustrated with how things are not coming together, how the team is not necessarily gelling the way that it should by now. And some people kind of blowing assignments, things like that. Go ahead.
So I know this is a little off topic, right? And we could jump back into that, but I got some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
The Panthers have traded Marcus Sims to the Houston Roughnecks. What the hell?
Oh.
What the hell, bro? They traded their leading receiver, all UFL standout. Like, he's a dog. Now we don't have to worry about him. Granted,
There's got to be some other extracurricular issues if they're doing that. You
They
don't
traded
trade
for an
away.
offensive tackle.
Now linemen are a
That's
gem in
a
this league.
crazy offensive tackle for a wide receiver.
Well, so
A star wide
It's
receiver
the
at that.
need.
in
It's
this
the
league,
need.
Yeah, but Houston don't need him. Like Houston's garbage.
but what I'm saying, well,
Like
they
he got
need
traded from a
anything.
team that had potential to a team that's.
Well, that's the thing. If they don't have anything, they'll take what they can get, any sort of star. And in this
Houston needs a
league in
quarterback.
particular, and this goes back to XFL 3.0 before the UFL merger. In these spring football leagues, the biggest commodity and hardest to find player is a lineman, especially an offensive lineman, because the good ones, the ones that you want on there, are already out of, they're signed to an NFL team, or they're still, in college waiting for the draft. They're not in the league. They're hard to come by.
You just say
in
that
the
because you were a
NFL.
lineman.
Wait. Pause. Another piece to this. Breland Speaks is on IR. Oh my goodness. So we don't have to worry about Marcus Sims or Breland Speaks coming in for this game. Two of the most dominant players for Michigan. That's insane. Now let's see. It's no excuse. It's no excuse, bro.
No.
Breland Speaks is a dog. And he's on IR.
For the season or for the temporary?
I don't know, but I don't know when they come back. I don't know, but I just know he on IR, so he not.
You know what?
He
On IR for next week. Is the only week we play them, so I don't give a damn.
Yeah, I think it's the same as like NFL, where they have like the 6 weeks or the season.
Yeah, I mean that's what happened with Millette last year.
Yeah,
he got put on IR
for
like
6 weeks.
The second game was out for 6 weeks. So
whoa, this is a banger right here. That's insane, man.
Well, hang on now. Hang on, because you're saying that's their biggest offensive weapon.
Who? Marcus Sims?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he's coming to this season. He's supposed to have been like that dead guy. He's the number one wide receiver though. He probably don't have the catch, the yards, and the targets, but he's the number one wide receiver.
And that may be the case. I'm trying to look up stats because I'm looking at this last week's stats. Sims had one rush for -7 yards and 3 catches for 12 yards.
Keep in mind the number one target normally is a decoy as well, so that way your 2s and 3s can eat. So just keep that in mind too.
He was targeted 4 times the entire.
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying, just in general, because
so
even when we talk about any football, like when your number one target gets the number one corner, that means your 2s and 3s should be able to eat. So
for the season, Marcus Sims is leading the team in receptions. I'm sorry, he's tied for the lead with Malik Turner for receptions.
We don't know who Malik Turner is. We definitely know who Marcus Sims was.
Yep.
Or is. Yeah. Now he probably gonna go to the wayside now because he's in Houston. So
maybe.
I mean, based off our thoughts in the beginning of the season about Houston, where we're like, they stacked up, maybe they might have the team, and then I think
that was you. It certainly wasn't me.
We were saying
I had Houston week 1.
I was saying that they had the players, they had built up a stronger core,
and I thought Anthony Brown was going to be better than what he was.
But the coaching is still the coaching.
Coaching is still the coaching. Now, I do want to talk about, and I know this is gonna annoy some people, but I am not saying this is what cost the Brahmas the game at all. Just right off the top, but my God, the officiating
was terrible.
And Dean Blandino, that man cannot review a damn play. My God. Okay, you know what? I will say the goal line fumble recovery. He got that one right. He crossed the goal line. Should have been a touchdown. The challenge that was the OPI. You know what? It sucks. That was the right call. But the holding that we reviewed, and then the pass interference that they reviewed, it was the exact same play. There was a hold and a grab. The holding that we reviewed, Dean said, he didn't restrict the movement of the player. He obviously did. He grabbed him. He was trying to get in position to make a tackle. he wasn't able to do that. He said, you know what? It didn't restrict his movement. It's not a hold. On the pass interference, he grabbed him, was still running down, just grabbed it. It wasn't, he didn't grab him and tug him or anything like that. Just had his hand on him.
They both was playing the ball.
He said, he grabbed him, so it's a pass interference.
Terrible.
I don't care how you want to interpret it, but you have to be consistent. You can't say the same play, the same movement, the same motion is a hold, is a not a hold in one case, but is a pass interference in the other case. You have to be consistent.
Blandino is never going to be consistent. Okay. As much as we mock him, I would love to see his stats on what he calls versus what the actual call is, because there have been several questionable calls that have come from Blandino there.
Even last year.
And last year, since his involvement with the instant replay, there have been several questionable calls. And somebody's got to be reviewing this, and maybe they're not, maybe they don't care. I don't know. But to us fans, it makes a big difference, right? Because one bad call can turn your momentum around. You could be on a charge, get a stupid, PI call that completely ruins the drive, which happened this week, actually, to us, So I would really love to see what his actual stats are as far as, accuracy, because I'm highly suspect of it.
Yeah.
Talk about your experience, man.
Yes. So Jay did go to St. Louis. He was at the game in person.
I did.
He traveled there. He just actually, like you said, just got back. So please.
Yes. And first of all, thank you for the compliment on the shirt. This is actually from the UFL shop.
Okay.
Spurgeon, thanks, man. I didn't get a chance to even text him and let him know that we got home yet. But we literally just drove into the driveway at 8:00. So everything went in the living room, and I came running up to the fake studio here.
What's your thoughts on the jersey?
The jersey's all right. I probably should have gotten a size a little bit bigger. It just means my fat gut needs to get a little bit smaller, right? But they run about true to size. They're nice. This printing part is a little weird for a football jersey. It almost feels more like an arena football jersey.
Does it have the marbling on the sleeve?
It does have the. I don't know if you can see.
Oh
that.
yeah, I can see it. Yeah. From far away you couldn't see it, but up close, yeah. I wasn't sure if it, because I know the numbers on the home one didn't have the marbling like they do.
Really? That's weird.
Just based. So for anyone who is interested in getting a jersey, obviously you can get it on UFL shop. But if you don't want to wait for shipping, you can get one at Dick's Sporting Goods in the San Antonio area. They do have the home jerseys available. I can confirm that because I saw them there a couple days ago. So yeah.
So I'm happy to report the colors are true, right? Which is
not the navy
nice
blue.
Compared to our Packers throwback knockoff jerseys, a little bit disheartening seeing those. But for the most part, I mean, that right there, right? If you compare the two, you're going to be really sad. Okay. But the knockoff ones aren't really bad because, I mean, at least they've got the numbers, sewn on, and, they'll probably fall off after 3 washes, but whatever. Right. For a couple of bucks, you can't really complain. The price is not too bad for what you're paying for. I mean, again, this is, not an actual game jersey. This is more like a fan jersey. Whereas at least the first XFL jerseys were a little bit more like the player jerseys, but overall, not bad for the price point. Would I buy it again? Probably not. But overall, I mean, if you want to invest the money in it, and at least blend in with, when you're traveling with the team, it's not a bad investment. Okay.
And that's been Jersey Reviews with SAJ. Now our next segment is St. Louis Review with SAJ.
Did you get mud on your shoes on the inside?
Everywhere. Okay. So I need to preface this with, first of all, saying thank you to Jason and Amanda for opening their home to us. Absolutely appreciate that more than I can say. Thank you to, Daddy Ed and Mama Bear and Wayne the Cigar Guy and Excalibur and Toby the Beard and the God, what the heck is his name? The guy with the horns. Um, all the normal people, John and Jill, the normal people that we usually hang out with, right? That kind of hang out in that church parking lot.
Yeah.
It should be Mark Allen, I believe.
Yeah.
But I don't know what his super fan character name is or whatever. Um, those people were good to us. Okay. Yeah, there you go. And Brahma Babe was there. She can attest to this. This is only a critique of the section that we were in, but the people in the section that we were in said some of the most vulgar, repulsive crap to our players. And I get it. You're gonna taunt. You're gonna tease. You're gonna try and get people fired up. But some of the things that they said, I can't even say them here because I won't air that kind of filth on our show. And that to me really surprised me. And this was the worst that I had heard. Now, granted, again, it was at the players and not necessarily at us. Brahma Babe and I caught a couple of comments ourselves. There was one guy that was, getting all feisty and uppity and whatever when St. Louis went up. Basically, what is it like 12-0 at the beginning of the game, or towards the beginning of the game. And it's like, dude, it's 12 points, relax, right? But then he kept going and kept going and kept going, and finally, for the first time in my entire history, I didn't actually turn around, well, until we scored the field goal. And then I stood up on my chair and I 100% threw the hands up, and I was like, if you guys are going to sit and throw it at us, you're going to get it right back, 100%. So our whole section, I did that to everybody. Now, granted, it was about the only thing I could really do, but still, like there's a certain level of taunting, and this went even beyond what we experienced at the championship game. Again, just the one section. Maybe we were just in the section with a bunch of rowdies, that were just kind of looking for a problem. But Jason does have kind of a point. I'm not going to share that comment, but those St. Louis fans are
I'll
something
share it.
else,
I ain't
man.
scared. There you go.
Well,
Uh,
and I
Like always.
I had
The children.
I had mentioned this last week in the show going into St. Louis is that this was going to be difficult, not just from, okay, we had a bad Arlington game and the play wasn't great, but going into St. Louis, obviously it's the largest crowd that always draws. And they were going in, the fans, with a vengeance because they were still angry about Kroenke still,
Although
and then also
it
being
didn't-
eliminated from the playoffs in their stadium and us going to the championship in their house. I knew they were still going to be angry about that. So I'm not surprised to hear that their mouths were dirtier than the seats that you all were sitting on. So,
yes. And you'll be happy to know the seats are still just as dirty as they were before. Here's another critical review and I have to bring this up, right? So last year we complained about a couple of things, right? First and foremost, the cleanliness of the stadium, which is absolutely disgusting. Secondly, it was the PA system, right? And then you could complain a little bit about the lighting and the turf. But who really cares, right? I mean, the turf is the turf. As long as it's maintained, it can last 20, 30 years. That's fine. But they upgraded their PA system, and now you can't even hear people at all. It literally sounds like the teacher from the Peanuts comics, right? Yeah, that's all you can hear. And then the only other thing that you could hear clearly, which unfortunately we heard a lot of, was that's a St. Louis first down, STL. But that's because the crowd is yelling it, and so that's really why you can hear it. But any kind of announcements that they talked about with the players, or any kind of the sideline stuff that they do, penalties, you couldn't hear anything, right? So I would have to sit there and watch and wait and see what the referee is actually like his hand signals and then which way he's pointing, right? Um, that's just horrible. You're going to spend that kind of money on that place, which arguably used to be a pretty nice place. Maybe when they were playing NFL games in there, it was a great, stadium.
30 years ago.
Now, dude, they're investing money to make it even worse. Like, how would you even do that? And they do. It's St. Louis, right?
I mean, it's
So-
St. Louis going to do St.
It's-
Louis. So
Honestly, it's I still find it funny how it's the only place where I can say I've been to an indoor stadium with fake grass where I still got mud on my boots, like
Yep.
multiple times. But it is what it is. That's just how they are over there. That's why they call it the Dusty Dome.
yep. Yep.
Now, before we get into our picks for this next week, I do just want to highlight if you go to the QR code over there, we do have our new collection that's live, the military collection, with the first game being Salute to Heroes. We just want to make sure that everyone knows if if you're looking at any merch that is specifically military themed, it does go out towards helping us keep the pod running, make sure that we got, like Jay likes to say, get all the bills paid. But we encourage you to check it out. The collection is live, and it'll be
it's on the Honor and Courage collection. And like we said last week, $2 from every purchase in that collection goes to DJ. What's the organization again? It's Mission 22.
Mission 22. Yep.
Mission 22.
Yeah. So $2 from every item you purchase in that collection goes to Mission 22. So
yeah, Military Child Appreciation Month. So we appreciate all the support. It'll be great for the first, and that's going to be the theme for the first home game in general. And it's great merch, and it runs from toddler sizes all the way up to adult sizes, and women's sizes, women's cuts. If you want a women's cut, if you want something for Fido for your four-legged friends, we got that there too. So just scan the QR code and check it out. So
let's I know we got the picks before we do the picks, let's do our power rankings at the end of week 2 real quick. So I'm gonna put those up on the screen.
What? This is another week I think we disagreed on.
I think
Not as bad as the
I
first
think the
one.
only thing we disagreed on was 1 and 2. I had DC as 1. I think Jorge, you might have as well.
Yeah, I had DC at 1, but I don't have St. Louis at 2. I have Arlington at 2.
Yeah, well, I've got, like I said, I mean, I think me and DJ, I think ours were the exact same except for I had DC at 1, St. Louis at 2. Everything else is the same. It was pretty close this week. I don't think there was as much disagreement as with last week and stuff.
I think last week we disagreed on the bottom half. Now we disagree on the top half.
Yeah. But all right, let me stop sharing that, and I'm gonna move to our picks.
Yep.
Yeah, so this is picks for week 3. Curious to see where we're at with them as far as the season. Who's, because I know that there was me and DJ were the only ones that weren't the homers last week.
Yep.
Hey, and now with I mean,
There may be some surprises this week, though, as Brian
that's-
hides behind the
that's-
AFN logo.
This week every week is always full of surprises.
All right,
Yep.
so currently, DJ, Jorge, y'all are tied at the top, 6 and 2.
Hey.
Jackie,
Jackie had all that
5 and
mouth
3.
last week. She ain't say nothing now.
And Jay, you're holding up the rear at 4 and 4.
Yep. Kind of like
So-
our Brahmas.
Yeah, well,
Nah, Brown was worse than that.
and then our picks for this week.
Yes.
Y'all taking Arlington over Birmingham, huh?
Bro, you don't know how hard it's been for me to have to pick Arlington to win 2 weeks in a row, my guy.
No way.
Like,
They
it's been,
not Birmingham back. Birmingham on track, man. They got it. They needed one good team,
Oof.
good game to get them on track.
Well,
I think they're on track.
But Arlington's
think they are.
offense is
They struggled
rolling.
though against Memphis.
Yeah, but Memphis
Oh
isn't
no,
as-
Houston. I'm sorry. Was it Houston?
Yeah.
They played, right? Yeah.
yeah, they played
Arlington
Houston.
played Houston. Yeah.
Yeah, they struggled.
And some people will say that the weather was a
weather was
factor. I
bad.
don't think it was that much.
But they got a run game, so you would
Um,
think that they would go crazy, but no.
No, but either way, that's where we're at. We're split on those. Houston, Memphis looks like unfortunately, we're all with the Memphis.
Hold up, Jay. You don't want to change your pick?
Which pick?
Jorge, y'all want to change our pick? Jorge, you going against San Antonio every game?
Dude, until like you said, make me choose you. And I have not seen a reason to choose them so far from the last 2 weeks of play.
I think we got this one though. I think we got this one.
I hope I want to be wrong on this one.
All right, I'm going to question the last pick. Everybody picked DC, yet 3 of y'all had St. Louis first in the power rankings.
Hey,
that don't
power
make
rankings
damn
is from
sense.
last week.
That don't make no damn sense.
That's from last week, man. Power rankings is week by week.
No,
who played the best that week?
Week by week, I would still have DC, Arlington, and then St. Louis at third. I would not have them.
St. Louis shouldn't be at the top because of strength of schedule, plain and simple. Okay.
I think they just the complete team. They look, their offense just looks unstoppable to me.
You know what we should do?
I don't think that's
and their
true.
defense looks crazy. From what I've seen, the play calling looks crazy. The quarterback play is insane. I thought Manny was gonna be garbage. The quarterback play is insane. Like Mon should be doing what he doing.
You're not wrong.
Like.
But you've got 2 opponents that they played that have not put up a double-digit score against them, and it's not because of but because of their defense.
It's a lot to do with the defense. Their front four.
It has something to do with the defense, but it also has a lot to do with the team itself. We run the same run play every single time. Gets a little stale and predictable. Really easy to block.
They both play each other this weekend, so we'll see.
Well, we'll see. Well, yeah, that's gonna be probably game of the week. And then I think this is just me. I vote that we switch out on our weekly picks the Battlehawks logo for a picture of Dean Blandino doing this.
Man.
So that's just me. That's just me.
I support that. All right. So
I've got a different hand signal for Blandino, but let's go ahead and go to the next segment.
Yeah. So obviously, we know we're playing Michigan this week, so we've got a couple Michigan fans that we're going to bring on here, and we've got Lauren and Jesse from the My Panther Pride podcast.
How you guys?
What is
guys?
up, fellas?
Come on, fellas.
Oh, y'all! Both of y'all got real comfortable in y'all seat. Y'all ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
So did y'all hear the news?
Oh,
Yeah, we did. We
How
did.
y'all feeling?
Well, I mean, that's
not as confident as I was.
Honestly,
That's a bunch of both sides,
we
man.
keep it 100 on here, man. You gotta tell us, be honest. How you feeling?
Be 100% honest. I know, because hey, I'm picking you guys to beat us, so that's tough. That's tough pill for me to swallow.
Are you guys looking for actually there? You and Jay. So are you looking for 2 extra co-hosts of the My Panther Pride podcast? I think we're about to lose 2 on the Horns Forward podcast.
We'll welcome you guys on.
I guess I'm going to lose 1 on Texans Talking Football too. Then.
Ooh.
No,
So how y'all feeling?
That's not.
Are we
promise.
coming in a bad time, boys?
No,
this is just how we do things, man.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling so
Feeling,
far
yeah.
about
How
the
you feeling?
Panthers up to the first 2 weeks of the season from what you've seen from them so far?
Good, Lauren.
I feel like week 1 we started hot. Our offense was firing on almost all cylinders. We were doing pretty good. Week 2, not so much on the offense. Defensively, we've been pretty strong. I just seen that Breland's on IR.
Mhm.
So see how they attack that situation this week. But I think even whenever he was out a little bit last year, our defensive line was pretty stout. I mean, we got Levi Bell in there this year. He's not injured like he was last year. So
That's to kind of piggyback off what Lauren said. It does scare me with Breland going on IR. I don't know the specifics of it, but especially with the attention that he attracted week 1, and then it kind of came around week 2. He was a little more productive. Obviously not in the sack column, but he was productive. It bothers me because players like Kenny Wilkes or Wilkie, I'm not sure how he pronounces it, but he was eating him and Moreno, or yeah. But both of them, they were very productive because they were byproducts of everybody attracted towards Breland. Now, on the same side, I do think that with Breland out and Levi Bell was out the first game, so I think with him coming back, it's going to be able to, everybody's going to be able to pick up a little bit of slack. But yeah, I am very worried about the defense, especially with that being the cornerstone of our defense with Mike Nolan.
So let me ask you this: Who is your number 1 receiver?
Now?
No.
Now?
we were talking about this. So who's your number 1 receiver?
Yeah, I wrote an article today. It's not published yet, but in the article it says we don't have a number 1 receiver, so I have to go back now. My editor has it, so I got to go back and I got to get it. But so I would have said we don't have one. I would have said we're kind of in the middle. I mean, we have highly targeted, like Malik Turner, newcomer. He's high in receptions, but as a slot receiver, most won't consider him a number 1 receiver. So, and Sims was headed that way. So
but going into the season, Sims was supposed to be the number 1 receiver, right?
Yeah, he anticipated. Yeah, I mean that's how it's going to be. So this is at UFL. This is pretty big news. This is projected number 1 receiver being traded after 2 weeks of the season, especially to a. Granted, they need it down there, but
Yeah.
And I mean, we'll see.
I
don't know much about the offensive linemen that we got, but I know that we have a very tight-knit group, so I'm interested to see how that affects that as well. I don't know.
I mean, he came from Houston, so.
But it's like I said, in this league, a good offensive lineman is hard to find. It's a gem. It's like finding a diamond. Now, we don't really get to interact too much with people who are more in tune with the USFL side of the UFL. Now, this has been a common theme for us since last year, is our perspective on the officiating, which we've already kind of talked about here. I want to get y'all's perspective on it. As far as from what you guys have seen from an officiating perspective, how do you feel about it? Do you like it? Do you dislike it? Do you think it could be better? Are you calling him Blindino like we do? Like, where are you guys at with that? Because that's been a common theme for us. Is like, this needs to get better.
Go ahead, Jesse.
I think I kind of have two aspects to this. One, I think that the immersion, we'll call it, that you get from, it's a very different product when you're viewing it, as a viewer. I mean, granted, when you're in the stands, it's a little bit of the same. TV timeout's a little different, but when you're viewing it on TV, you're getting, the interviews, and you're getting the play-by-plays from Dean Blandino on the Xbox controller stuff. So I think that is awesome. So you get a little bit of view into that. But in that aspect, before there was a little bit of a buffer between the referee making the call and the call on the field. So it's kind of like a blatant, hey, the referee sucked in this game, right? But now you're seeing if Dean Blandino does miss a call, and you're like, hey, that's very subjective, and you're calling it one way multiple times, and we're going to you on the same camera. This is getting a little suspicious. So I do see a little bit of both sides, but I think overall as a product for the league, I think it's a good thing.
I would have to agree with that.
I can see that.
I was just going to say I would have to agree with that. Like, watching it at home and having them like kind of peel back the curtain and see the process of them going through overturning a call or why they made the call or going back and reviewing like a coach's challenge or anything and stuff like that. On TV, it's a way better experience than when you're in the stands, because in the stands, you're kind of just like in limbo. You might hear Dean Blandino over the loudspeaker if they plug him in or not. It all depends on who's running the acoustics at the.
So I
field.
was going to ask if in Michigan, if they played him when he does any challenges over the speaker. I know, we went to all the games last year, and I think all of the speakers did, all the broadcasters did, except for when we were in St. Louis. And for some reason, they didn't play any of his challenges or reviews or anything like that. Now, Jay, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I did think I thought I heard the review being played over the PA.
The crowd was yelling.
Yeah, because they were cheering kind of during some of it, so it seemed to me like they were playing it. But
yeah, do you remember hearing Dean at all on Friday?
I don't recall, but I remember the plays being announced, but I don't remember if it was him. I mean, you're in the zone down there. You don't really get it, especially row 2 and 3. You're kind of in the zone at that point.
Well, I know in St. Louis they can't do that because there's no way for them to interface the audio equipment and everything that Fox uses with the VHS tapes that they have there at St. Louis.
Well,
that would be impossible.
I know
to do
that Ford Field is one of the most sophisticated stadiums. Not saying but as when it
relatively speaking to the
UFL, when it comes to like crowd control and like AI, like we almost. Most of the places you go, you just walk in and walk out, and like they charge you because they already have your card number. It's kind of crazy, and they track flow. So they have a lot of stuff going on. So I don't know.
I mean, it's NFL caliber stuff. I mean,
And especially
Well, I mean, it's the only NFL field that we're using in the UFL.
Yeah, and they just extended for 10 more years too. Ford.
So what are your guys' predictions? What are you looking forward to for the game this weekend?
I mean, now we're looking forward to seeing who our number 1 receiver is, along with like hopefully not rotating Bryce Perkins and Danny Etling.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think
yeah.
Before 20 minutes ago, I had different expectations going in, but now, I think I'm excited to see where the offense goes. But I mean, if I'm now that I'm kind of thinking about it, also I was writing today about how we didn't really have an offensive identity as far as if we wanted to try to stretch the field, because the play call didn't make sense with so many receivers downfield when we're keeping everything, we're keeping it within the box essentially and within the numbers. So it's just, I didn't really get why we were doing that when he never really let it go. So not having a number 1 when you have 2 guys running down the field that are competing for number 1, I mean, maybe this will be the evening out factor. So, I guess seeing who the number 1 is and absolutely seeing where the defensive line specifically, because I think our defensive line, actually our secondary has been a product of our defensive line, especially in the first 2 weeks. I mean, we had that clutch one by Kai in the first game to kill it. And then we had Miller had 2 picks in this game, a lot of PBUs too. So I'm not saying that was not a common thing, not, discounting him, but obviously if you have pressure, the quarterback's not going to be making as good a throw. So those 2.
We know that. We know
that firsthand.
Now,
go ahead.
I'll say I got to jump here real quick, but I just had one last question before I jump. What's the team that makes you guys happiest to see lose, and why is it the Arlington Renegades?
Oh my goodness. They on the USFL side. They don't even talk about Arlington for real.
It's different, especially now.
Put your picks for this week up again.
Quiet.
I would say I was really happy last week when Birmingham lost, and I think I can speak for almost the whole league besides for Galleons fans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I think I think everyone likes to see them lose.
Yeah.
Right.
Even on the XFL side. Mm-hmm. They're just
Oh yeah.
No one's Unless you're from Alabama, no one's really a fan of them.
No,
But-
yeah, Stallions for sure.
No.
But
Yeah.
just for the record, hey, in our picks, I had you guys. I thought it was gonna be a bounce back week. I'm not gonna lie. I really thought. I thought it was.
We may have to
Is this
switch
before
hosts
we-
then.
Sorry,
Well,
guys.
we just postponed
Yeah,
that for 1
unfortunately,
week,
so
so
did
you
we.
know.
Is this before
Yeah.
Speaks and Sims went out?
No, you're talking about us against St. Louis, right?
Yeah. Last
Oh,
week.
I thought
Sorry,
you were talking
sorry.
about-
No, not this week.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Okay,
oh,
that makes sense. That makes
Oh,
sense.
okay.
That makes sense now. Never mind.
Going
All right.
into this past
Yeah.
week.
I mean,
Well,
you
I
guys,
just think that
you
the
guys
score's
aren't
going to be a
gonna.
little closer this week now.
I say y'all
Okay,
aren't
cool.
going to abandon your team and pick the Brahmas to win over the Panthers, right? I mean, nobody in their right mind would abandon their team to pick somebody else.
And that is my cue. Gentlemen, it's
Yeah,
been
they
a
would.
pleasure. Best of luck this week.
Why you wishing them the best of luck?
Horns forward. All right. I'm out.
Yep.
See you guys.
All right, later, Jorge.
See you, Jorge.
So
See you
I got
man.
a question, right? How do y'all feel about Bryce and Danny? Like, y'all really running like a 2 quarterback system right now. And I think y'all probably like the only team that's running a 2 quarterback system right now.
Well, I wouldn't quite say that. I think that what was it, Memphis last week? Was
Oh, they
trying
did
to
run,
put
yeah,
in-
yeah.
Yeah, so Memphis kind of has the same situation, but
But last game they ran with 1 quarterback, so
yeah, and
I
then
know,
this
I know Houston was running with 2. Houston ran with 2 the first week because they started the guy, realized he sucked, and then brought in the backup QB, realized he did better, and then
started Anthony
CJ
Brown.
forgot that the starting QB sucked, so he decided he was going to start him again the next week, and then
his
repeating the
Terrible
process.
coach,
I
man.
guarantee
He's
you
terrible
his
coach.
assistant coach told him, dude, what? Switch him out. Come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably did.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, last game, let's see, Danny Etling, he was 3 for 4 for 8 yards, and then he had 1 rush. So I mean, they only had him in for really, a series. five plays. But I completely agree. I don't think they should be rotating. I think they need to leave the team to Perkins. I don't think it's good for him. And Lauren said it on our podcast earlier. I get it that you want to get these guys film, you want to get them out there, you want to get their name out there, but hey, you already had one guy go away. We got one guy out there and he's starting for another team. Now let's get our guy and let's let him play the offense,
Right.
especially when they're trying to figure out which one is the number 1 receiver.
Right. Do you miss what's my man name for Memphis, the quarterback?
Perry?
He played with y'all last year, right?
Yeah.
Do y'all miss him?
After the way he played this weekend, I felt like I did. Played better than Bryce and Danny, for sure.
Well, according to what BD said, that's because Ken came back, so he looked totally different.
I think Wizen Hunt was a big upgrade for the Memphis team.
They look like a completely different team.
I completely agree. They got their coordinator back. I mean, they got their head coach, their leader, obviously, but they also got their offensive coordinator back. So they still have Jaron, so they're still going to have their solid defense, which is the Mahler defense, which everybody knows it. But their offense now, I think, can get rolling. And I think Lauren said it earlier. I think week 4 we play them, and I think it's going to be a battle, especially now with the news that we just got. So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey,
Well, it's gonna be an
the
uphill
season's
battle.
here, boys. The season's here.
Hey,
We
you
know.
what?
We feel it.
Me and Jay, we're going to be up there. Tutin Brahmasita, she's coming with us. Brahma Babe's coming with us. So, we'll have a nice little crew up there.
Sleepy Brahma.
Take
Yeah,
care.
he's gonna be making
We should have some
Brahma
good San Antonio
burritos.
representation there.
I'm gonna make biscuits and gravy.
Oh man.
5 pounds of gravy or biscuits or beef, or we're gonna have plenty.
Yeah, Brian will take care of most of that.
There's
so
no
don't worry
such too
about it.
much food when I'm around. So,
Mhm.
Good. Because I don't want to take it.
Guys, cannot wait. Super excited to meet you guys. Hang out at the place that shall not be mentioned, just because of the NFC North rivalry.
You can call it the jungle.
I am looking forward to the stadium though.
City, baby.
So, I mean, we could, if Green Bay didn't do so bad recently, we could have called it Lambeau East, but that's probably
Do I
not
have to
going to
get
work
the
now
ticket
because
back
Packers
down?
are horrible lately.
from when we were there in Lambeau?
You can get whatever you want now. I'd love to compare the record though.
Ooh.
So, but that being said, I mean, records don't matter when we're in the year
Fair
right now, right? Obviously, our record was 7-3 last year, and we went to the championship game. This year, we're starting out 0-2. And championship game's looking a little bit
You know,
farther
not yet,
away
dude.
right now.
There's still 80. There's still
there's still a
80% of the
chance.
season left to be played. So I don't want to hear
There's
that negative
still
bull crap.
80%.
All right, enough.
You
Enough
guys-
with it.
There's still,
So,
well,
what did you guys think about coaching from the? How do you guys feel about coaching from the booth?
Oh, that's
About
a tough
Coach
one.
Wade.
Maybe.
Maybe.
Well, he was in the booth against Arlington. He was on the field against St. Louis.
I don't
Yeah.
like AJ in the booth.
I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't like offensive coaches, coordinators in the booth. I think they need to be on the sidelines, kind of collaborating with the
Yes.
players. You know, talking about
Mhm.
schemes, talking about plays, drawing stuff up. I think that's where an offensive coordinator belongs. I'm cool with the defensive coordinator being up in the booth because he kind of gets a good overview of the entire field and stuff. I think that's a good spot for him. But I think AJ Smith needs to move his ass to the field. Wade, Wade, stay on the field, kind of be involved with the team. You know, I said it earlier. This does not look like a Wade Phillips coach team to me, especially with all the defensive issues he's having. Whatever he's got to do to get involved and light a fire under his staff's ass, he needs to do it.
right. I think it's muscle. A head coach probably should be somewhat directly involved, but I think it's much less crucial for a head coach to be on the field than it is the OCs, things like that, because those are the boots on the ground guy.
See, I almost tend to disagree because I feel like the head coach is the guy who is in charge of the entire team, the guy who is supposed to be managing the clock, the guy who's supposed to be flagging people down for timeout, the guy who's
We saw
supposed
some
to be
terrible clock management last night.
disciplining as
On that
well.
side.
I mean,
Yeah.
obviously that can be delegated, but I think that those jobs need to be taken care of by the head coach on the field so that the coordinators can do their
Well,
job.
let me add this
Right.
because week one and last night, I mean, whether he was in the booth or on the field, the shit was still the same outcome.
Yeah.
Like undisciplined, penalties all over the field.
But
Just
did
dumb
but
shit.
did, but is the optics from the team and the organization of him being in, because me and Lauren talked about it on the show, is this I'm a half a step out? Is this I'm almost done? I'm passing this off?
You know,
So do they see that? Maybe that affects morale or motivation, do you think?
that is questions that need answers that we do not have. That's all I'm saying.
Way above our pay grade.
Yeah.
way. But I mean, I get what you're saying and I understand. I mean, of course, we talked about it. Like I said, we talked about it last Monday as well. So I mean, we don't know.
There's definitely something to what you said, about how it looks to the players when the head coach isn't doing the head coach things. And I could speak on some of that because, again, I'm at the game, I'm texting everybody. They're all getting pissed off at me because I'm about 30 seconds ahead of everybody and telling them, I can't believe he did this, or I can't believe that player did that. And they're like, Jay, shut up. We're not there
Spoilers,
yet,
man. Spoilers.
Mhm.
So there's
Get
something that
blocked
could be
real
said about that. I can offer an opinion, but I'd much rather do it off air. Just because, like, I ain't trying to be that controversial or anything. But I can see some value in what you're saying with the head coach being there to handle like the discipline of the players. If you like, for example, we had that unsportsmanlike conduct, right? That absolutely should have been called. I mean, it was
Both
a
ways.
good call.
Oh, we
No
didn't even
problem.
talk about that when we're talking about the officiating. Oh my God,
ways.
that was ridiculous.
Because Manny antagonized it. Like
The official says, "Do we call it on the quarterback who started it?" The ref's like, "Nah, let's not. Let's just call it on the one guy." That's a
Hockey
smart
rules,
play.
man. Second man in always gets a penalty every time.
Yep.
Yeah,
Whoever
and when the
retaliates
refs,
always
when the
gets
refs
a
only
penalty.
see the second man. The refs don't always see the first guy. That was some stupid bull crap right there.
Okay,
but the ref was right there, and that's taunting, bro. That's literally
Yeah.
taunting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't disagree
And-
on both
Right.
both counts.
But and I don't disagree with you either that it was taunting. However, right, Our player should not have lost his cool and put his hands on the quarterback. Plain and simple. That's undisciplined. Okay, you don't let your emotions get the best of you like that, because the second guy is going to be the one that draws the flag. You know, unless it's blatantly obvious, and the player involved looks at the ref and is like, "What the hell?" Right? Draws attention to it, which that's not what he did. He put his hands in the dude's face. That draws the flag. So, again, all that to say, head coach being on the field to handle something like that, 100%. I get what you're saying. I agree with you on that. The clock management, stuff like that. But the offensive coordinator, he could be doing some of that also, right? But we could do a whole show on what we think is going on right now. And again, we're not going to get any closer to the real answers, because we don't have any of those answers. So hopefully this week we turn it around, especially with me picking, Michigan. So far I've been wrong on every pick that I've picked. So I'm hoping that I'm wrong again this week. We'll see if my reverse psychology, reverse the jinx curse thing works.
Chestnut checkers. I see what you're doing.
Oh yeah. So
well, if
but
it
again,
works,
gentlemen,
we'll let you back on the show next week.
Okay, thanks, guys. We do appreciate it. We're looking
And if it
forward to
doesn't,
making the
you can
trip.
come on our show next week.
Ooh.
No, that's all right. That's all right. This isn't a Michigan tattoo. All right. So
We can get a cover up.
anyways, guys, we appreciate it. Best of luck, as Jorge said. It's hopefully going to be a great trip for us, and we'll make sure to buy you guys some beer after the game when you guys lose. But in the meantime, looking forward to I'm looking forward to hanging out with you guys. I'm not looking forward to the journey, because we got to get up at like dark 30 for an airplane ride. That's not going to be a lot of fun. But
Do you guys have like rides and stuff for when you get in?
I think
that's
we're
a great question.
Yeah, I think we're gonna Uber from the airport to the Airbnb, and
dude, I'm right down the
figure
road.
things out.
Off here, just shoot me a message. I'll give you my text. I can if the time matches up. I mean, I work and I'm a coach, but I mean, I can shoot over. And
Okay.
pick you guys up.
Okay, we'll reach out and see if we can make something work. I appreciate that.
Yep.
What do you coach?
In the meantime, plug your shows, plug your socials real quick, and then we got to go.
Okay.
You can find us anywhere: Facebook, TikTok, X, Instagram, YouTube. Everything is My Panther Pride. This Sunday, we're facing these guys at noon, Ford Field. Come catch us beforehand, about 9:30. We're going to have a tailgate. We're going to have some food and coffee available, so swing on by. We'll feed you.
Irish coffee?
Help you get some tickets, whatever you need.
No, we'll be there.
Sure. I'm sure these guys are going to have Irish coffee. But that's 9:30 Eastern time,
Yes.
right? Because we're Central Time zone. So make sure
We're
you
normal
adjust
time.
accordingly.
And if anybody that watches you guys is by us, if you're subscribed and you comment on our last video, we're giving away 2 tickets. So if anybody's interested in the area.
Nice. Well, gentlemen, thank you again for coming on and joining us and putting up with it. Can't wait to meet you guys in a couple of days.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
we'll see you guys this week, and man, appreciate y'all coming on.
Yeah, it was good.
Take care,
Good talking
guys.
to you guys. Good to meet you, DJ.
Yes, sir.
Later, y'all.
There, guys.
Once forward,
See ya.
guys. All right. So now it's just us.
We're a little over time, but
Yeah.
I do want to reiterate. Come right here, get you some merch. Go get you something from the Honor and Courage collection. Good stuff over there. So
Yes, sir. Go shop.
All right.
anything else? I guess Jay, you and me tomorrow. Texas Talking Football will be on. So
And I have plenty more to vent about. So, but I don't want it all to be about me tonight.
Yep.
Or I guess in this case, St. Louis. But we'll talk about that a little bit more tomorrow. Again, some of us traveling up to Michigan, so I'm sure we're probably going to be doing some live broadcasts from there. So make sure you tuned in for that. DJ and crew will be holding it down here. Where are you guys going to be going this week for the watch party?
All the watch parties at 151. Bombshell.
Yeah. There's the bombshells. Is kind of the watch party on that side of town. You've got all the Brahma's Bar Crew places, Buffalo Wild Wings. What they just added another one last week. Oh damn, what was it?
Buster's, right?
No, not Dave and Buster's.
It was David Buster's.
Was it?
Yeah, it's on a graphic.
Wow.
David Buster's.
Oh, it was Dave and Buster's. That's right. So yeah, Buffalo Wild
Nice.
Wings, Dave and Buster's, Fiasco Sports Bar, and then up if you're up towards the Bernie area, the Fair Oaks Roost. So all kind of different sides of towns. You got places to go watch the game at. So, or like I said, go to a local bar, turn it on, and let the rest of the bar watch it and learn, get a new sport. So
Yep. All eyes on this league matter. So wherever you go, if you go out during the game, ask them to turn it on. The more views we have, the more money that more revenue that generates for the league, and the
more
better it is for
the more
the league
interest
overall.
that gets in the league,
Mhm.
and that's what's most important right now. So interest turns into revenue. So
Yep. So, guys, do your part. Support the Brahmas, whether you're going with the team or you're at home, kind of holding it down. Make sure you're spreading the word about it. You guys got anything else?
I mean, I know it's horns forward, but I do want to say, go Houston. They're up right now over Florida in the college national championship. So go Houston.
Ooh, Brahma Babe gonna punch you in the mouth. But all right, horns forward. Shut it down.
Oh, hold on.
Suck it, St. Louis.
Sorry, wrong one.